Waldo Politics is now live. Streaming just chatting, yes, voter ID is racist. I'll explain why. Toss any links to cool stories into the Discord. Discord.
Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name's Waldo, and I am here to feel the politics with you. How's everybody doing tonight? I am doing great. Thank you. There is maybe a tornado out there, or a tornado on the way. The entire Pacific Northwest is going nuts today because there's a 2% chance of tornadoes. Oh my God, 2%. Everybody panic, panic. So, I might get kicked off the live stream tonight by inclement weather, lines being blown down, trees knocking down the internet lines, uh, uh, telephone poles being blasted, my entire house or roof being torn off by a tornado. If that happens, I will not let you know because the internet will be down. But I think I hear the rain starting now. So, I'm going to try and stream through it. I'll do my best. You're ready to feel. Let's feel some politics. There are a lot of political feelings to happen tonight because I don't know if you looked at that title. It's a little bit clickbait, but it is something that I'm going to do. Voter ID is, in fact, racist, and I will explain to you why tonight. But let's start with some fun stuff. Let's look at some fun political feels. How about that? I like fun stuff. You like fun stuff. Let's look at some funnies. Let's look first at this as soon as I remember how the buttons work. There are the buttons. Window capture on. And we go down here and we get that. And this is some gentle parenting for the U.S. leaders about national security. Let's hear what she has to say.
Crisscross applesauce spoons and bowl. Notice my face. I am so sad, friends. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Is Signal a secure, encrypted military communication system? Yes or no? No. Are we supposed to use any group chat to coordinate airstrikes?
No.
That was a super sad choice. You could have used your walking feet and sat in a room together and used your words to commit acts of war. I don't care what you did at Fox and Friends, Peter. Catch a bubble. I was gone for 1 day, and Mr. Jeffrey said that while I was gone, you were being mean to Europe? Mr. Jeffrey knows because you added him to the group chat, friend. Yes, I know you get super duper excited talking about bombs. I saw the emojis. But even when Donald is playing golf and you get to play President, JD, you have to calm your body down before talking about national security. Got it? Okay. In front of you, you have some paper. We are going to write I'm sorry notes to our European allies. No, you all are going to write notes because you all were in the group chat. No, not Mr. Jeffrey. JD, no couch. Thank you.
No couch. Okay. So, yeah, that's a fun way to lead into the horrible, nightmare, terrible, awful headline that everybody's heard about. You've probably seen this. You've probably heard about this. The Trump administration accidentally texted me its war plans. U.S. national security leaders included me in a group chat about upcoming military strikes in Yemen. I didn't think it could be real. Then the bombs started falling, said Jeffrey Goldberg. That's the Mr. Jeffrey that she was talking about. So, yeah, these guys are real dumb. Like, they're just stupid. They are not qualified to have the jobs that they have. They're not actually adults, which is why it's fun when we look at the lady who's treating them like children. It's fun. It's silly because it's true. The funniest jokes are the ones that are based on truth and reality. World found out shortly before 2 p.m. Eastern Time on March 15th that the United States was bombing Houthi targets across Yemen. I, however, knew 2 hours before the first bombs exploded that the attack might be coming. The reason I knew this is that Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, had texted me the war plans at 11:44 a.m. The plan included precise information about weapons, packages, targets, and timing. He goes on to explain it in very, very, very good detail. But this is the important part. They texted him all the important shit because they're stupid, because they're dumb, because they're not actually qualified to do this job. Pete Hegseth isn't a military leader. He is a fake tough guy. He's lucky that pilots didn't actually die or get attacked. Every member of the military is in greater danger because of this guy's incompetence. He is unqualified. He's a Fox News TV anchor who pretends to be a military tough guy. And no, this won't get him fired. That's what everybody's talking about. Hey, let's call for Hegseth to get a resignation. No, this will not get him fired. God, no. I think he could knock down and steal a Marine's gun and get into a firefight against Tulsi Gabbard in the Pentagon and still not get fired. Being fired assumes blame and that mistakes were made. Trump does not like to admit fault. He will not accept this fault. He's already said specifically that no, what's the word? It starts with a C. No secret information got let out. No confidential information came out because confidentiality is just based on their feelings, man. If he feels like something is very important, then it is, and it's a state secret. If they feel like it's not, then it won't be. If they feel like Hegseth made a mistake, but it's okay because no classified information got out, they can just change their minds on what is and isn't classified anytime they feel like it. Doesn't matter. Donald Trump can say, oh, well, it wasn't classified. He said that. Donald Trump said it wasn't classified. These guys, when they went to testify, said it wasn't classified. And then the guy released some more information today, and it most definitely was classified. Let me see if I got the photo of it. Is that it? Is that it? Yeah. Here we go. Hegseth says, nobody's texting war plans. I know exactly what I'm doing. Here's his text of the war plans. Time now, weather is favorable. Just confirmed with CENTCOM that we are go for mission launch. 12:15. F-18's launch, first strike package. 13:45, trigger-based F-18 first strike window start. Target terrorist is at his known location and should be on time. Also, strike drones launch, MQ-9s. 14:10, F-18's launch second strike package. 14:15, strike drones with target. This is when the first bombs will definitely drop, pending earlier trigger-based targets. 15:36, second strike starts. Also, first sea-based Tomahawks launch. He sent out and texted all of the classified stuff. But it doesn't matter because everything is fine as long as a Republican does it. Every Democratic molehill is a mountain, and every Republican mountain is a molehill. That's how this works. The Republicans who own the legislature and the executive and most of the judiciary and the media get to decide what we talk about and what is important and what is not important. And they will say that this isn't important. The rain is coming down hard. Can you guys hear that? I don't know if you can. I don't think you can. I must have set up my microphone the right way. The rain is pounding down pretty hard right now. I'm going to go close this window and then I'll be right back. So if you're in Twitch chat, the lady Canooch will read TTS.
Read TDS.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, I had to close those windows so the rain doesn't get in. The evil, naughty, poisonous rain. There might be some tornadoes tonight, so everybody remember tornado safety. If you see a funnel cloud, gather your family, run out onto the front lawn so they can see it too. Safety first, everybody. Remember. So yeah, that was Pete Hegseth is a moron, and he is in over his head. Into the murder dungeon. Yes, I do have a murder dungeon at the bottom of my house that I can hide in, but it's full of murder dungeon stuff. It's pretty gross. What was I ranting about? Yeah, this Pete Hegseth guy. I don't like him. He seems to not be doing things properly or smartly or correctly. It's not a good idea to put TV pretend tough guys in charge of the entire military. If Pete Hegseth says, the Pentagon says it was not classified. The Pentagon says it was not classified, so it's not classified. Doesn't matter if it looks an awful lot like exactly what we're doing, when we're doing it, and how we're doing it. They'll just say it's not classified. You can say anything, man. That's the trick with politics these days. Politics changed about 20 years ago, you guys. You can just say anything you want, and it doesn't matter. If you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat, if you're on the left, you have to be held to 100% accuracy 100% of the time. And even if somebody feels slightly like you might have over-exaggerated a little bit, you get canceled and ruined and destroyed, and you have to apologize. You have to go on an entire tour.
They unclassified it by thinking it is.
Absolutely right. They unclassified it by thinking it's unclassified. So Donald Trump has thought that this attack is unclassified. Now it's unclassified. He didn't release any classified information, and it's fine, and he doesn't need to, resign or be held responsible or be investigated. None of that needs to happen now because it's okay. We made it okay. If it happened, well, it didn't happen. Well, if it did happen, it wasn't that bad. It's that narcissist's prayer. And we're right in the middle of it. And this is the way it's going to be for everything. That's if Donald Trump even remembers that it happened or knows that any of these things happened, because I don't think he did. They asked him about it, and he's like, what happened? No, that didn't happen. None of those things happened. So what else do we have to talk about tonight? If you're in chat, hop in. If you're watching, if you're paying attention, hop into chat. Tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. If you're in the Twitch chat, the lovely Lady Canooch will read these words out for us, and then you get to be a part of the stream. So that's always fun. If you're in YouTube chat, I'm sorry, I love you, but I can't make TTS work on YouTube or Kick. I don't know why. It just doesn't function. So that's sad, but we have more bad news. Wait, no, let's do a funny one. Let's jump over here to do another funny, because I got another one. Here it is. We're going to call it balance. We do something silly, something horrible, nightmarish that's going to ruin all of our lives. And then we'll do a joke. It'll be a good time. So who is the joke this time? This time, the joke is Usha Vance. She went to Greenland and nobody wanted to talk to her. Representatives of the American government have been going door to door in Greenland's capital in recent days ahead of the now canceled visit by the U.S. Second Lady Usha Vance. American representatives have been walking around, practically knocking on one door after another in the past few days to ask if people might be interested in a visit from the vice president's wife. Everywhere, the answer was the same: no thanks. Would you like to talk to the JD Vance's wife? No. I don't think so. That's not a good idea. Nobody wants to talk to her. Which is fun and hilarious, and I like it.
I'd say the same thing.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. I don't want to talk to her. Why would you want to? Especially if you're in Greenland. I mean, isn't that, what is she doing? Like a pre-invasion tour? Like, what is she doing there to convince everybody through debate and logic that they ought to become part of America? What is she doing there? There can be no other thing for her to be doing there except pre-invasion crowd work. Like, is that what she's doing? She just wants to talk to a bunch of people and be like, no, America's great and you should be a part of it. Madness, insanity. I can't imagine what else she would be doing there. I mean, she's not a diplomat. It's not like she has a mission and has an amount of resources that she needs to bring back or sell them. She's trying to convince them that America's okay, and it's okay if we invade you and steal your land and deny you your sovereignty. It'll be fine, honestly, because Usha Vance told us it would be fine. Seems like a bad plan. I don't like this plan. I don't want to be a part of this plan. So, yeah, that was the other funny. Let's look into some more horrors. Let's look into some more absolute terror. Here we go. That's all part of the racist thing that I'm talking about later. Yeah, here we go. How would you like to watch somebody get kidnapped? Isn't that sound like fun? Let's watch a nice lady get kidnapped by the brown shirt fucking secret police. How about that? Won't that be fun? So you see her down here at the bottom left. She just walked into the frame. This guy knows exactly who she is and where she's coming from. He's going to intercept her. And then she freaks out because she doesn't know who these people are. They are not in uniform. They are not identifying themselves properly. They have badges around their neck. And watch this here in just about a minute. We have another lady jump in with a mask on. A mask to hide from the cameras. This guy sees it and he starts to put his mask on. This guy pulls up his mask and this guy pulls up his mask. There we go. Yeah, mask up, everybody, so that the cameras won't know who you are. These are the secret police, guys. We are in a fascist state with secret police. I know, so brave for the. What do you want to bet? All of those motherfuckers said a mask is too hard to breathe in when COVID was ravaging and killing millions. They were like, I can't wear a mask for 5 whole minutes into Target. They probably did. I don't know them, but I know that's true. They refuse to wear a mask during COVID, but they will wear a mask when doing secret police brown shirt Gestapo work. That's when you need your mask, obviously.
Ma'am, you got the okay. Yep, we're going to take it right to the camera. Come on, I'll show you everything. Okay, sure. Yep, you're fine.
No, you're not fine.
We're the police. We're the police.
Yeah, you don't look like it. Why are you hiding your faces?
And that, did you hear that? Somebody from off the screen. It's like, you don't look like it. Why are you hiding your faces? It's a good question.
Why are you hiding your faces?
Yep.
Because they're the Gestapo. That's why they're hiding their faces. They're fucking brown shirts. That's why they're hiding their faces.
I see some faces here. How do I know this is the police? It's like, hey, you're the police like me.
But in this red car, I think actually tries to get some footage or something like that. Because he's going over here, right where they are, you know? And then this guy starts hassling him.
Is that been going on here?
So yeah, they're just picking fools up off the street. Now, you might ask, Waldo, what did this woman do? Was she a terrorist? Was she Al-Qaeda? Was she ISIS? Was she Hamas? She actually has committed the crime of writing for her college newspaper. She wrote an opinion piece for her college newspaper. That's the crime she committed, you guys. That is why she's being hassled by these people in masks. There he is, putting his mask on, hiding his damn face. Because he knows he's the bad guy. All of these people wearing masks know they are anti-American bad guys. And they know it. They just don't mind doing this stuff with a mask on. They don't want peace or equality or a melting pot. They want the brown people gone. That is what they want. And she had an opinion. Shame. She wrote an opinion piece in her college newspaper suggesting that Israel was murdering people in Gaza. Which they are. They're murdering people in Gaza with your tax money, with my tax money. I would like for them to stop doing that. I am allowed to say that because I'm not on a visa. She's on a visa. She's on a student visa. So because she had the opinion that the government doesn't like, they revoked her visa. Slightly different than Mahmoud Khalil, who was picked up a couple of weeks ago. He wasn't on a visa. He had a green card. He did everything legally. He did everything correctly. And he was a permanent resident. They still picked him up, plain clothes, the Gestapo, the SS, the secret police, picked him up because he organized some protests, which aren't illegal. He's allowed to do that. You're allowed to organize protests. You're allowed to say things. You're allowed to write opinions in your college newspaper. You're allowed to have free speech, even if you have a green card, even if you're on a visa. We can. The law already accepts canceling visas and green cards if you commit crimes. Speech is not a crime. It wasn't until now. Speech is now a crime for certain people. If you have a green card, if you have a visa, your speech might be a crime. Because Donald Trump is a fascist and the ICE agents are the fucking Gestapo. It's where we live. It's where we are. That's the country I have to live in now. I wish it weren't true. I wish someone would stop this. I wish we could point to this. I wish I could put this on the fucking screen and the people in charge would be fucking embarrassed, apologize, and then quit their damn jobs. That's what used to happen in this country. When you did something horrible, we all looked at it, we all pointed at it, and we all said, hey, you can't do that. You don't deserve the position you have any longer. But we don't get to do that anymore. We don't get to do that. Because the fascists won. They won the last election, and they are taking over the country. One visa at a time. Let's see if I've got another link about this one. Yeah, here we go. DHS claims without citing proof that Ramusa Ozturk engaged in activities in support of Hamas. The activity she engaged in was co-writing an op-ed urging Tufts to heed student resolutions to acknowledge the Palestine genocide and divest from companies tied to Israel. That's the crime she committed. She suggested that the college she is a member of do what their students are asking the college to do, accept that this is a genocide, and divest from companies tied to Israel. She didn't say go to war. She didn't say kill all the certain people. She didn't say kill all the Jews. She didn't say anything crazy. But if you suggest there's a Palestinian genocide going on, and I do suggest exactly that, I'm suggesting that, but I was born in America, so I get to suggest that for now. For a little while longer, I'm allowed to suggest that. A couple of months from now, I might not be allowed to say that without going to jail myself. But she's not allowed to because she has a visa and they can cancel that if they don't like the words that she says. I mean, I keep repeating myself here, but this is fascism. This is authoritarianism. They don't like the words, so they make the words a crime. And if they can take her away, they'll take you away. They'll take me away. They'll take anybody away. They don't care. Let's see. Do we have any other links about this one? That one? No. And it's not going to get any better because why is it not going to get any better? Because Donald Trump wants to get rid of some federal courts. House Dems Tyranny Johnson's outrageous suggestion that Congress should eliminate some federal courts. House Democrats who spoke to TPM on Tuesday were stunned and floored by House Speaker Mike Johnson raising the possibility of Congress eliminating some federal courts as a part of the House Republicans' ongoing interest in punishing judges who dare to rule against Donald Trump's administration. The courts can't save us because the Republicans want to get rid of the courts if they disagree. What are we going to do about it? They're taking away all of the peaceful ways that we can fix our disputes. And when all the peaceful ways are gone, the violent ones are the only ones that remain. But they're itching for it. They would love that shit. Donald Trump wants more people in the street so that he can send the troops after them. He wants more people to protest so that he can mow them down with artillery, with bullets, with military equipment. That is what he wants. If it becomes a crime to say the word shit, I'm screwed. Yeah, Trader Todd, it probably won't. You'll have to do it with 2 syllables, however. Shit. You know, like you're from the South. It's 2 syllables. Trader Todd, all your 4-letter words have to become 2 syllables. Hell. Shit. Fuck. Damn. You have to split them like that. Then you will be allowed to say them. I speak Southern quite well, so I recognize that all the 4-letter words are 2 syllables. So yeah, the courts are trying their best, but they also might not be able to keep up. They might be too little too late, so far behind, because this stuff didn't go through a court. ICE just decided without a warrant, without evidence, without a hearing to go and pick this woman up. They don't need evidence anymore. They don't need court orders. They don't need warrants. They just do it whenever the damn hell they feel like it, wherever the damn hell they feel like it. If the courts were to stop them, it might already be too late. The courts are already trying to save this lady, but they can't because they don't know where she is. The latest I read was that the courts didn't even know where she was. Her lawyer did not know where she was. How does a court deal with that? Save lady now. I agree. But they can't because the brown shirts have her and they won't tell the courts where she is. Her lawyer says, I need to know where she is. And they're like, nah, man, you don't. She doesn't have rights anymore. She doesn't have humanity any longer because they won't tell her lawyer where she is. That was the latest update I have. It may be more new. That's so dumb. Yeah, no, that's the plan. That is what they want for all the people that they don't like. They feel like she's not American enough, so they deport her. It's all based on feelings. If they feel like Waldo isn't American enough, they'll deport me. They'll try to anyway. Maybe next in a couple of months. They're coming for the visa holders now. If they came for the visa holders and we said nothing, so they came for the green card holders and we said nothing, then they're going to come for the leftists next. They're going to come for the people who speak out against Donald Trump. They're going to call that a crime. And I think it's going to happen on 420, but you can watch that video tomorrow on my YouTube video if you missed it last week. I'm releasing the what's the word? Martial law, Mr. Martial law, martial law.
Martial law.
That's him. Mr. Martial Law is the subject of tomorrow's video. So go on over to the YouTube link.
YouTube.
There it is. Go on over to the YouTube link to watch that tomorrow when it drops at about 8:15 PST, West Coast time. If you weren't here for the last stream when I put the hat on and talked about it. Yeah, I think very soon it will be illegal for me to do what I am doing now, which is looking into a camera and telling you that Donald Trump is a fascist and an authoritarian and a liar. I think that will be soon illegal. I don't want that to be illegal because it's all true, but saying true things into a camera will soon be illegal. And then, no, they're probably not going to start with me. They're going to start at the top, but they'll work their way down. And as the people at the top stop saying true things, I'll keep saying true things. And then maybe somebody will show up and then I'll get a bunch of hate views waiting for me to get dragged off to the gulag. It'll be a good time. I mean, hate views are views, man. I need those numbers. So let's see what else we've got to look at today. Here we go. While we're on the subject, chilling effect on free speech. Trump wants green card applicants already legally in the U.S. to hand over their social media profiles. So the people with the green cards who are legally here with permanent residents, he wants to look at their social media profiles to determine if they're saying things he doesn't like. USCIS said the vetting of social media accounts is necessary for the enhanced identity verification, vetting, and national security screenings. Critics say it crushes free speech. So if you say a thing they don't like, you get your green card canceled and then deported. Trump administration proposal to vet social media profiles of green card applicants already legally in the U.S. has been condemned in initial public feedback as an attack on free speech. Visa applicants living abroad already have to share their social media handles with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, but the proposal under Donald Trump would expand the policy to those already legally in the country who are applying for permanent residency or seeking asylum. The U.S. CIS said the vetting and social media accounts is necessary for the enhanced identification, vetting, national security screening. So they want to kick the people out if they say the things he doesn't like. We're close to being over, Tony. White Tony, we really are. We're getting real close. He's ruining the country. Yes, I agree. How can we stop this before it's too late? Tell people, hey, listen, he's picking people up off the street. He's canceling people's visas for the words they say. You don't have to be a vigilant, militaristic, evangelical when you go to talk to people. But if you have friends, tell them, hey, man, they're just picking people up off the street for the words they said. If you have somebody in your house, at your work that kind of doesn't pay much attention, be like, man, that's crazy. Did you see this? They're picking this woman up just for the words she said. Just plant that seed. If you frame it the true way, is that an extreme? Is that a catchy title? Yeah. Hey, did you see this? They deported that lady for the words she said. It's exciting, but it is also true. So, if you are known as someone who is political, knows what the politics are, when crazy shit happens, your friends and your family and your acquaintances will come to you and ask you, hey, what the hell was that all about? Then you can tell them and they can understand, hopefully. So what else is happening? So yeah, we're losing free speech. They're losing free speech. The green card holders are losing free speech. I'll lose my free speech pretty soon. What else is in the news? Oh, hey, this one's crazy. This one's just kind of silly, too. Let's look at this silly one. Trump says he didn't sign proclamation invoking the Alien Enemies Act. But he did? Like, he's a moron. He doesn't even remember what he did anymore. President Donald Trump on Friday downplayed his involvement in invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to deport Venezuelan migrants, saying for the first time that he hadn't signed the proclamation, even as he stood by his administration's move. I don't know when it was signed because I didn't sign it. Trump told reporters before leaving the White House Friday evening, we want to get the criminals out of our country, number one, and I don't know when it was signed because I didn't sign it. Other people handled it, but Secretary of State Marco Rubio has done a great job, and he wanted them out, and we go a long way with that. We want to get the criminals out of the country. The proclamation invoking the Alien Enemies Act appears on the Federal Register with Trump's signature at the bottom. With his signature at the bottom. Does he sign so many things that he's forgotten what he signed? Is his brain soup? Is he baby-brained, Alzheimer's, lost it because he doesn't remember what he's done? Maybe. Entirely possible. But he doesn't remember the big important thing that he signed to get rid of all the people. He's lost it. Yeah. And I know I've had this conspiracy theory for a while. I think that J.D. Vance and Elon ditch his ass at the 2-year mark. Now, I've said this before, but I think they're going to do the 25th Amendment right at 2 years since his inauguration. So January 20th of 26, I think it is. Or is it 27? Yeah, well, 25. Yeah. He got inaugurated in 25. 27, January of 27. They'll do the 25th to boot his ass. And by then we'll be so deep in the fascist takeover that it won't matter anymore. And that way J.D. Vance can run 2 more times after that. With Elon standing next to him, maybe even behind him, maybe even as vice president. Is it illegal for him to be vice president? Yeah, but who cares? At that point, the law doesn't matter. They don't care what the courts say. They have proven time and time again they do not care what the courts have to say. They can't ignore the courts when it's convenient. And when the courts agree with them, it's legally iron-bound law that cannot be argued with. But if they disagree, I can just ignore that shit. That's probably just some fucking leftist activist judge anyway, right? I mean, if the judge disagrees with Donald Trump, he's clearly not an American. I mean, they can just ignore that shit. So let's close that. And look, we got some tariffs today. Hooray for tariffs. Trump auto tariffs live. President announces tariffs up to 25% on auto imports for the rest of his term until next week when he cancels them. 25% auto and parts. April 2nd. Some parts of USMCA trade deal exempt at first. Canada to consider retaliatory tariffs. Of course, they will. EU says is planning next steps, and there's a wrap up Wednesday's covered. So, he said it. What do you want to bet that Tesla is exempt from these? It wouldn't surprise me at all if they were exempt from these, because Elon, that's the game that Donald Trump is playing. He's not doing these tariffs to make money. He knows, I hope by now, that nobody pays the tariffs. The customers might pay the tariffs, but then they'll stop buying the products because the price goes up and then nobody pays it. And then it's a whole thing. What he wants is for the person he threatens with the tariff to grovel, to get on their hands and knees, kiss his ass, and talk about how great he is. That's all he wants, is bend the knee, show your fealty, and promise to follow God, King, Emperor Trump. That's what he wants. And guess what? Tesla has done that. Elon has done that. So they won't get any tariffs. If the Washington Post has done that. Bezos with the Washington Post has gotten down on his knees and kissed his ass so that he won't get tariffs, so that he won't get taxed, so that he won't get investigated by the now overly weaponized government. Zuckerberg with Facebook, same. Got down on his knees, kissed his ass and said, yep, you're the boss. Don't investigate me. Don't hit me with taxes. Don't come at me with regulations. I'll kiss your ass. And that's what's happened. And those people will get more wealthy because of this, except for maybe Elon, but he's a special case. He is losing money with the whole Tesla stock thing, but that's because he's front and center in the stuff. Bezos isn't exactly cruising around the White House on a daily fucking basis, sitting in cabinet meetings. If he was, his stock would be going down too. But he's not, because he's less of an idiot. Elon is a moron. He's an absolute, complete fucking idiot. He barely comprehends anything that's going on around him. He is so baby-brained that he thinks everything is simple. His simple mind thinks everything else is simple. So when you hear him speak about the very large, very complicated, very labyrinthine Social Security program, it has to be simple because his simple mind says it's simple. It's not simple. It's incredibly complicated. It's one of the most, just the biggest government thing to ever exist in the human fucking race. It's the biggest, largest, most well-funded, pumping out the most product government policy to ever exist for all the humans ever. And he's like, yeah, it's super simple. I can just take a chainsaw to it. No, man, you can't. That's dumb. Simple brains think everything else is simple. Sometimes simple things do exist, but this ain't one of them. And he doesn't know it because he's not smart enough to see how complicated it is. He's not smart enough to recognize the incredible size and reach of these government programs because he's dumb. He's Dunning-Kruger. He's got that Dunning-Kruger effect. Dunning-Kruger, very important thing that that scientists came up, gave a name to. Dunning-Kruger is when you say something that you know is wrong to make chat argue with you. That's what the Dunning-Kruger effect is, and Elon has it. So what are we going to rant about tonight? Okay, so I got another thing here. What else? Hey, this is good news. The appeals court won't lift Boasberg's order blocking the Alien Enemies Act. Yeah, it's a fact. KVP saw it on Wikipedia. It's true. You can find that fact on Wikipedia. A very beautiful chainsaw. Yeah, it was a great looking chainsaw. I mean, it's not going to help. It's not going to fix Social Security. It looks real cool. And he feels like the meme lord standing up there holding it, but next to Captain ANCAP, when he was up there, but doesn't actually solve anything. It doesn't fix any of the problems that we have. Oh, gross. What a terrible streamer I am. Okay. Appeals court won't lift Boasberg's order blocking the Alien Enemies Act. So there was a judge. His name was Boasberg. He said, you can't send these Venezuelan people to a slave camp in El Salvador without evidence. And then the Trump administration was like, yeah, we totally can. And he said, no, you can't. And then that was he's a judge. So he said, my stuff stands and you cannot do that. Then they appealed it, and the appeals court agrees with Boasberg. Now, is this the end? No. They will appeal this appeal, and then they will appeal that appeal, and they will appeal it again and again and again until it gets to the Supreme Court. And I'm not sure what happens there, honestly. I mean, half the Supreme Court's already fucking paid for. I mean, with all their damn bribes, they get paid left, right, and center by right-wing pundits to fucking just do whatever they tell them. The Supreme Court has been bought by oligarchs. They can't save us.
Infinite Rerolls Government Edition.
Yeah, it is. And if we get to the point where it actually gets to the Supreme Court and Donnie loses and the White House loses 5-4, that says, no, you cannot send illegal people. You cannot send Venezuelans with no evidence to a slave camp in El Salvador. If that's the choice they make, sounds kind of obvious. No, you can't do that. But they're the Supreme Court. They'll just make some shit up. That's what they do. They just make shit up. They look at the law and then they feel that it should be legal, and then they find a way to make it legal. That's what they do, man. That's originalism. Thomas, the nice conservative person who's on my stream sometimes, tells me that originalism isn't that. But I think it is. I think originalism is a conservative lying to you. Anybody who says the judges are originalists, no. An originalist judge has an idea that they want to be true, and then they build a snake-like worm through the law to get to that end. And if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't matter. They got to the end. If it disagrees with things that used to happen, doesn't matter. Because originalist would say that the law from 1704 actually applies, not the one that was made in 1997. No. Gross. The laws in 1998, no, those do not apply. 1773, however, that's the law we like. That's the law we're going with. And the originalists will pick and choose any law they want from any time they want to get to the end that they feel that they feel like. If they feel like you should be allowed to remove someone's civil rights, they will find something from 1704 that says you're allowed to. They will. And if they feel like you should be allowed to make corporations people, they'll find something that will allow that. They're conservatives who are lying about their reasoning. That is what a originalist judge is. Conservative who's lying about their reasoning. So before civil rights, yeah, exactly. That's the thing. They pick and choose which ones they like, which is why the Alien Enemies Act got picked up from the 1700s, a 200-year-old law called the Alien Enemies Act. Donald Trump signed back into practice because he wants to kick people out of the country if they're not straight white Christian males. Kick them out. Speaking of straight white Christian males, let's look at this. This is the Preserving and Protecting the Integrity of American Elections. Donald Trump signed this on March 25th. That was yesterday. It's awful. It is going to ruin the elections that are already kind of crappy. So let's read what this has to say. Let's see. Despite pioneering self-government, the United States now fails to enforce basic and necessary election protections employed by modern developed nations, as well as those still developing. India and Brazil, for example, are tying voter identification to a biometric database, while the United States largely relies on self-attestation for citizenship. No, it doesn't. Self-attestation for citizenship. What is this about? This is about voter ID. I put it in the title of the stream. Voter ID is racist. Now, lots of people get very unhappy when they hear that sentence. All the conservatives start exploding and screaming and typing in all caps into the comments about how is it racist to ask people for ID. I'll tell you how. I'll explain it to you. We'll read this, then I'll put on a little act, a little play, and you'll see the racism. I'll pretend to be a racist for a minute, and you'll see it. So, self-attestation for citizenship is not how we determine who's allowed to vote. You don't sign up to vote. You don't register to vote. And then they say, do you feel like a citizen? And then you say yes. And they're like, good enough for me. Derp. I guess that must be true. No, stupid. They check your name and your address. And they determine whether or not you're allowed to vote when you register. Donald Trump does not understand what registering to vote means because it's done in the back. It's done away from prying eyes. When you register to vote, they read your information and determine if you are allowed to vote. If you are, they put you on the voter roll and send you something in the mail telling you how and when. If you're not, they don't put you on the list. And then they send you something in the mail saying you're not allowed to vote. Donald Trump doesn't know this exists. It's happened for millions and millions of people. And Donald Trump doesn't know it because he's either an idiot, which is true, or willingly, intentionally lying. He's misunderstanding on purpose to create a delusion of millions of illegal people voting and spreading that fear to scare you. I'm totally clipping you and pretending you to be racist and repulsive. Yes, you should. That's fine. I completely accept that, KVP. I really do. I want you to do exactly that. What's the word? I accept the all clip chimping of me because that'll just get my name out there. Even bad press is press. Voters should have to show a license before entering the voting booth. I don't have a problem with that. Neither do I. And we'll get into that. Registration is where they determine whether or not you're allowed to vote. If you're at the voting booth and you show a license, they check that against their list, their roll, their voter roll. And if you're on that list, that means you are registered. Your citizenship has been determined, and they put you on the roll. If you showed up there with a license and you haven't registered, some places will let you do a same-day registration, but that doesn't mean that you get to skip the whole citizenship thing. They put your vote in a separate pile to be determined if you're allowed. And if you are not allowed, your vote does not get counted. We have these problems solved. Donald Trump misunderstands voter ID. He creates a delusion about millions of illegals voting, and he spreads fear about that happening. Because those are his 3 steps for every single fucking issue. Misunderstand, delusion, fear. Every issue. He misunderstands what's happening at the border. He creates a delusion about caravans. He spreads fear. He misunderstands what political asylum is. He creates a delusion of insane asylums dropping their patients off at the border, and he spreads fear about it. He misunderstands what did he misunderstand lately? The Social Security. He misunderstands Social Security. He creates a delusion about millions of dead people getting money, and he spreads fear. Misunderstand, delusion, fear. Same 3 steps every single time, every single issue, always. Misunderstand, delusion, fear. He misunderstands trans people, so he creates a delusion about them being groomers and pooping in kitty boxes in high school, and then he spreads fear about it. I heard that you can use a botnet to register millions of fake voters and vote that way. Yeah, exactly. He misunderstands what a botnet is, and so he creates a delusion about Hillary stealing an election, even though he won, and then spreads fear. So let's keep reading this, however. In tabulating votes, Germany and Canada require use of paper ballots counted in public by local officials, which substantially reduces the number of disputes as compared to the American patchwork of voting methods that can lead to basic chain of custody problems. The reason we have an American patchwork is because we have many, many, many states. States get to determine how they want to do their votes. If they don't want to use paper ballots, they don't have to. Now, the conservatives love states' rights when it benefits them. Conservatives don't like states' rights when it comes to voting. They don't. They want everybody to vote their way, and fuck your face if you don't like that. If you want your state to have mail-in voting, conservatives want you to go fuck off. They do. They do not accept the idea that you would do it differently than them because they don't actually respect states' rights. They just want things the way they want them. Further, while countries like Denmark and Sweden sensibly limit mail-in voting to those unable to vote in person and do not count late arriving votes, regardless of the date of the postmark, many American elections now feature mass voting by mail. That's a good thing. You sick fuck. With many officials accepting ballots without postmarks or those received well after Election Day. Now, some people do accept the ballots depending on when they got postmarked or if they look like they were sent within the last couple of days. This is fine. This is not a problem unless you are a fascist trying to stop people voting. Free, fair, and honest elections unmarred by fraud, errors, or suspicion are fundamental to maintaining our constitutional republic. Suspicion. Here's where I start to see some big time problems. Trump fabricates suspicion out of nowhere when he doesn't get exactly what he wants. He invents conspiracy theories based on his own imagination and then tells you that they are facts. Do you remember when Hillary got 4 million illegal votes? No evidence. He invented a conspiracy. He invented suspicion. He created that suspicion out of his own head, pulled it out of his own ass, and then told you it was a fact. That's what a liar does. That's why I don't like him. He's a gigantic super liar. That's one of the things that bothers me so much is he just gets to lie constantly and nobody cares. Like, I mean, everybody cares. We all care. You all care. I care. But nobody just like, hey, remember that time you said 4 million people voted for Hillary? Yeah. 4 million illegals voted for Hillary and it wasn't true. Remember that? I remember that. Why don't we get to talk about that? That's old news, Waldo. He said 78 lies since today. Just today he said 78 more lies. Why would we go back to that one? I suppose. Under the Constitution, state governments must safeguard American elections in compliance with federal laws and protect Americans' voting rights and guard against dilution by illegal voting. Dilution by illegal voting. That's not happening. It hasn't happened. It's never happened. It's never happened. Never. Why are we creating Gestapo laws to prevent things that don't happen? Unless you're trying to rig the next election, which is exactly what this is about. This is not about safeguarding the election. This is about stealing the next ones. The next ones will be stolen because of this shit right here. Keep on reading. Let's see. Discrimination, fraud, and other forms of malfeasance and error. Yet the United States has not adequately enforced federal election requirements that, for example, prohibit states from collecting ballots, counting ballots received after Election Day, or prohibit non-citizens from registering to vote. Non-citizens have not registered to vote. They can try, but then they get turned down. He does not understand what that word registration means. He misunderstands it. He creates a delusion about non-citizens registering to vote, and he spreads fear. Federal law establishes a uniform election day across the national and federal elections. It is a policy of my administration to enforce those statutes and require that votes be cast and received by the election date established by law. No more mail-in voting, no more early voting, 1 day only. You know who says that? You know who says 1 day and 1 day only? People who want fewer votes and voters. That's who says that. You cannot say you want a healthy democracy if this is the only time, this is the only 24-hour period you're allowed to vote. Madness. Insanity. They do not want you to vote. They do not want me to vote. They do not want people who do not agree with them to vote. And they will do everything they can to prevent it. Doesn't matter if it's legal or not. They will try their asses off to prevent people voting because they hate you and they do not want your voice to be counted. As the United States Court of Appeals, the Fifth Circuit recently held the Republican National Committee. Wetzel states day ballots cast both voters. Yeah. Numerous states fail to comply with those laws by counting ballots received after Election Day. This is like allowing persons who drive 3 days after Election Day, perhaps after a winner has been declared, to vote in a person in a former voting precinct, which would be absurd. That's not absurd. You should have deadlines. I'm all right with a deadline. Election Day should be the final day. If your mail-in ballot came in the day after that, count it. Fine. If it's post-dated the day before the election or the day of the election, it counts. Arriving 3 days afterward, then after the winner has been declared and voting is not happening. It's never happened. Several federal laws, including this and that, yet states failed to adequately vet the voters' citizenship, and in recent years, the Department of Justice has failed to prioritize and devote sufficient resources for enforcement of these provisions. Even worse, the prior administration actively prevented states from removing aliens from their voter list. Absolute horseshit. None of this is true. They just get to fucking lie openly in these executive orders. There are not aliens on the voter lists. And if they are, they're put there as a do not let this person register to vote, because they're not citizens. If you send them your information and you're not allowed, they turn you down. It's how this has always worked. This is not a problem needing to be solved. It's not a thing that happens. What else we got? Above all, elections must be honest and worthy of the public trust. That requires voting methods that produce voter verifiable paper record, allowing voters to efficiently check their votes to protect against fraud or mistake. Election integrity standards must be modified accordingly. So this is another one of those conspiracy theories that conservatives have been telling people for years about how the vote got switched after they pressed it. They pressed Donald Trump, but the vote switched to Joe Biden, and it said, thank you for your vote, and then they kicked him out of the room. And then it slapped him on the ass and told him, you have to leave now. You know you cannot argue with this. No, you cannot talk to somebody about it. If you get a receipt, well, then that makes it clear and obvious. And then you can gather all your receipts together. No, you know what this leads to? This leads to 100 goofy grandmas at a retirement home, all holding their receipts for Donald Trump and saying there's no possible way he lost. Look, we all have these receipts, when he loses by 1 million, but they've got 100, so it clearly can't be true. But it's a paper receipt isn't the worst kind of thing that I can imagine. It's fine, not a big deal, but it will lead to stupid people getting on Facebook and Twitter and Fox News saying that the election was rigged against Donald Trump and against the Republicans. Within 30 days of the date of this order, the Election Assistance Commission shall take appropriate action to require, in its national mail voter registration form issued under 52, documentary proof of United States citizenship. Consistent with that, state or local officials to record on the form the type of document that the applicant presented as documentary proof of United States citizenship, including the date of the document issuance, the date of the document expiration, the office used to document, the unique identification number, all the fucking numbers, your height, your weight, all of the things, what you thought about, what your GPA was in middle school. Documents as required by the criteria while taking appropriate measures to ensure information security. The purpose of this subsection, blah, blah, blah. And Office of Military Identification Cards. Anything else important in here? I think there was something about the Attorney General. Yeah. The Attorney General shall prioritize enforcement of this and similar laws that restrict non-citizens from registering to vote or voting through the use of databases or information maintained by the Department of Homeland Security, state-issued identification records, driver's license databases. The Attorney General shall, consistent with applicable laws. And then the worst possible fucking thing I saw on here. Where are you? I read it earlier. We're going to do a Control F so I can find it. There you are. Department of Homeland Security, in coordination with the Doge administrator, whoever the hell that is. It might be Elon. It might be some lady you've never heard of. Nobody can make up their fucking minds. Shall review each state's publicly available voter registration list and available records concerning voter list maintenance activities as required by this, alongside federal immigration databases and state record requested. If you are registered to vote, Doge has your information. Sucks to suck. Sorry to be you. Sorry to be me. Doge has your shit. And I'm sure they'll be fine, and they won't do anything fucking disgusting with it. They won't do anything stupid with it. Doge is not a part of the government, yet they have lots of power within the government. They are a shadow government. They are the motherfucking deep state. And conservatives love it. They eat that shit up because anger, hatred, and suffering is the point. Conservatives don't like humans. They don't like people. They don't like themselves. And they need everybody controlled so everyone is nice and polite in public. Conservatives hate drug dealers, but fucking love drugs and drug dealers. They all, in public, talk about how disgusting and depraved that weed smokers are. Then in quiet private, they want weed. They smoke it with their friends to have a good time because they can do it right. They hate alcoholics, yet most of them are. They hate the child molesters, yet they are them. They hate the gays, yet they are them secretly. If you want to find gay people grooming the youth, go to a church, motherfucker. Go there. That's where all the gay groomers are. And what are they talking about all the time? How much they hate gay groomers. Conservatives are the party of duality. They are the party of hating themselves and hating humanity and hating everything about themselves while secretly doing it and secretly loving it. Alex Jones had tranny porn on his phone that one time. Because it feels better. It feels naughty. That's why he did it. That's why he does everything that he does. It feels naughty. It's all about feelings, you see. If he sees that thing, that transsexual person, that trans person in a pornography film, it feels naughty. It feels dirty. And that makes it more fun. If he rails on about, if your pastor rails on and on for hours about how awful it is to be gay, real good chance that he's down at the old glory hole. If what was that? The guy recently, where is he? That wanted to make Trump derangement syndrome a mental disorder. Let's see, where was his name? He was the Minnesota Republican bill to define Trump derangement syndrome as a mental illness. He got pinched by the cops for soliciting an underage prostitute. He got Chris Hansen, is what he got. I knew he'd find you down there at the old glory hole. Exactly, KVP. This guy is a Republican, and he says Trump derangement syndrome is a mental illness. And then he got pinched. He got picked up by the cops for trying to pick up an underage prostitute. He was chatting online to a cop, because that's everybody on the internet's a cop. You might be a cop, White Tony. I'm not sure. That's why I'm not proposing any sex with you. He got he knew that the cop that he was talking to was underage, and he suggested money for sex. And then he went to jail. You're not a cop. That's exactly what a cop would say, White Tony. I suspect that everyone is. I'm going to treat you as if you were. I'm going to treat you as if you were. So I will not be offering you any drugs. I will not be offering you any money for sex, and I will not be offering you any sex for money. Okay? So we'll just, everybody knows. Good. Because you might be, because that's exactly what a cop would say. See? Okay. Anywho. The people who rail about these things the most are the ones who do it. You know, it's the guiltiest. Conservatism is a ideology of duality. They hate the sin, but they love doing it. You know, they hate alcoholism. They love doing it. They hate drug dealers, but they cry bloody murder, or they scream bloody murder about all the fentanyl. What? Fentanyl is their favorite fucking talking point right now. Have you ever heard of anybody getting shot by a fentanyl as they walk down the street? I was walking down. You don't get accidentally killed by fentanyl. You die from fentanyl because you take drugs and you like the way they make you feel. Have you ever tried drugs? They're fantastic. Everybody loves them. All humans love drugs. All humans love drugs. The conservatives pretend that they hate them when secretly they love them. And so they accidentally, secretly take the fentanyl and then die.
Waldop 3 Pika.
Thank you. So that is their problem with the fentanyl. That's why, and they hate the stoners, the West Coast idiots, the California, Seattle guys, and the Colorado who legalized weed. They think that's disgusting. They all secretly take fentanyl. It is an ideology of duality. But I have ranted and rambled off in the wrong direction. I was supposed to be talking about and explaining to you why voter ID is racist, and it is. Let's imagine when you go to the airport. I've been to the airport. You've been there. They look at your driver's license. They don't verify your address. They don't verify your age or your height. It would take too long. The verification happens when you applied for the driver's license. The verification happens when you applied for the driver's license. That's why the DMV takes so long and then often sends you a new license in the mail a week or two later, because they were checking, they were verifying, they were double checking the information to make sure that it is accurate. This is the same for voting registration. The registration happens months or even years ahead of the election. The databases are checked for accuracy, and if you are not a citizen, you are not registered to vote. This problem has been solved. We do not need Donald Trump solving the problem. Republicans, one and all, are lying to everyone all the time about this. I don't know why we let them get away with it. Non-citizens are not and have never voted in federal elections. It's never happened. Trump claimed that 4 million illegal people voted for Hillary Clinton back in 2016. He put together an entire task force to find them. The task force found none and then quietly shut down because they all knew he was also lying. They knew he was lying. They lied about it all the time. Republicans lie about this constantly. This executive order will not make elections more secure. It will make them more racist. Trump wants uneducated, untrained Republicans to sit at the front door of all polling places and only let the Americans in to vote, aka white people. They will be allowed to pass right on through and cast a vote. But if you don't have a perfectly white Anglo-Saxon complexion like mine, you aren't if you're not wearing the appropriate clothing, if you don't have the appropriate hair, if you have a foreign sounding name, you will be challenged by this uneducated, untrained Republican. You will be slowed, hampered, oppressed, and forced to clear more hurdles. Let's put on a little play acting. So this is the part get ready for this, KVP. This is when I pretend to be racist. Let's put on a little play acting. I will pretend to be the uneducated, untrained Republican that Trump wants at the front door. Okay, so hello. Welcome to the polls today. Hi. What's your name? Jan Smith? Get right this way. Come on in. Right here is your I see you on my registration list. Hang on, let me get my registration list. Yeah, Jan Smith. I got your name right here, Jan. Come on in. Here's your sticker. Here's your I voted sticker. And you, sir, what is your name? Your name is Bill Stockton. Okay, yeah, you're on my list. Right this way, Mr. Stockton. Here's your sticker. And you, sir, what is your name? Javier Gutierrez. Well, yes, you're here on my registration list, but do you have any ID, Mr. Gutierrez? You got a driver's license. Okay, well, immigrants can get driver's license too these days. So, do you happen to have any other, like a green card or any sort of citizenship paperwork? Oh, what's that? You were born in Oklahoma, so you don't need a green card. Interesting. Okay. Do you happen to have your Oklahoma birth certificate with you? No? Okay, well, I can't ascertain your citizenship status. So please return here with your birth certificate and wait in that 4-hour line again. What? Don't raise your voice at me, Mr. Gutierrez. I am a steward of democracy. If you continue to act like this, I will have the police escort you away from these premises. My goodness, that was frightening. Okay, who's next on the list? Brittany Buchanan, right this way. Here's your sticker. End scene. There you go, KVP. That is what Trump wants. And that is what all Republicans want. That is why he signed this executive order. He wants that little scenario to play out 1 million times across the country at every single polling place. He wants anyone who does not look like me to be hassled. The more hassle the voting is, the fewer people will do it. He wants the feelings of the poll worker to determine who is and isn't allowed to vote. Not the facts, not the registration database. No. Republicans can't allow the law to make those determinations. The law is blind. Haven't you seen the lady, the statue? She has a blindfold on. How is she going to know who isn't an American? She can't even see. Republicans want the poll workers to vibe check each person, use their gut to come to a decision. And even if they're proven wrong, they'll feel like they're right because they used their common sense. And as I've said 1 million times, common sense is just a feeling. All politics are based on feelings. This executive order, in conjunction with the Republican-led House and Senate, the Republican ownership of the U.S. Postal Service, because we're about to get a new Postmaster General who's going to shut that mailing votes down. That shit is shut down real soon. The entire media has a right-wing slant. This will lead to massive chaos in the next election. We live in interesting times. I'm sorry to let you know that, but we do. This is the next step in the fascist authoritarian takeover of America. This is a solution to a problem that does not exist, intended to rig the next election. If the Dem wins in the next midterm, they will invent fear, uncertainty, and doubt, then point back at this executive order and say that the votes should not count. If a Republican wins, and there's some reporter talks about the people who were turned away, or the legitimate voters got kicked off the rolls, or the votes weren't counted, that reporter might be arrested. And why am I saying it this time? Providing false election information is a crime. Sending out info to people with the wrong date of an election in a hope that they don't show up on time is actually a crime. That's happened in the past. People send out mailers and information with the wrong dates to dick people up, hoping they wouldn't show up. That is an actual crime. I'm predicting now that this is the big one. This is the executive order that will get reporters charged and arrested because they will be reporting on people who were unable to vote. And the Attorney General, Nazi Barbie, will call that false election information and start charging reporters with crimes. And I'm actually being kind of optimistic here. A reporter on CNN saying a true thing and then getting charges brought against them might not happen because they simply won't say the true things. They might wimp out and comply ahead of time with the Trump admin to very softly ask questions without coming to any conclusions or making any statements so that they don't get charged or arrested, making any viewer unsure if anything actually went wrong. I'm kind of tired of the news just asking questions. I'm gonna need them to start providing answers. But they don't do that, do they? No. We're just asking questions. We're just here to find out what you say, Senator. When the senator's done talking, the reporter should look down the barrel of the camera and say, that's not true. All the stuff that senator just said, all the stuff that Donald Trump just came on here and said, not true. That's news reporting. Not, hey, president says 4 million people voted illegally for Hillary. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Who knows? Who knows? What do you think? Chatter, what do you think? People at home, I'm a news reporter, and I told you what Donald Trump said. That's all I have to do. I don't have to tell you he's a liar. I don't have to tell you that he's incorrect. I don't have to fact check and find out whether or not the things he's saying are true. If you want it to be true, it is. Who cares? Classic VO super stereotypical Mr. Gutierrez. Yeah, you should. When I turn this into a YouTube video, what I'll do is I'll put some cardboard cutouts of people. I'll put some graphics on the screen. And if you find me Mr. Gutierrez, I need him to look as plain as possible. You know, I don't want him to look like Machete. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you're going to give me a super racist Mexican accent when I say that part. I believe in you. I think that you can do that, KVP. You should do exactly that. I endorse every single thing that you're doing because even then I'll get some hate watches, you know, and hate watches are watches, you know, hate views are views. I'm all right with this. Let's see. So that is everything that I had to rant about tonight. If you're here, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. I appreciate everybody who's here. I'm going to turn this into a couple of YouTube videos and maybe some shorts and stuff like that. If you would like, you can go on over to the YouTube page and
YouTube.
Watch the YouTube videos over there. Become a follower, become a subscriber on the YouTube. It's very cool. I'm at 248 subscribers on YouTube right now. I'm going to get up to 250 soon, so that's exciting. You could be number 250 if you play your cards right. I'm watching the weather, and I don't hear any tornadoes. Even the rain has stopped. Maybe I'm in the eye of the storm. I don't think so, though. I think it's just raining slightly. But that's it for me tonight. I appreciate everyone who's here. Thank you very much. My I don't have any doggies up here to show you. I'm sorry, but I did put a new little video in the Bark Boy channel on a Discord. Go on over to the Discord. And you can see an entire channel just of Bobo the baby Bark Boy photos. And I put they did a little drive-by at me this morning. They did a little drive-by. They came running around here, and then they ran downstairs, and they ran all the way upstairs, and they came by again. And I got them the second time, and I got a little video of them on there. So, let's see. Anything else? I knew it. Why, Tony? I fucking knew it. And you're not. Wow. Now I don't know what to believe. I'm on a roller coaster of emotion with you. I don't know what to believe anymore. Uh, that is it for me tonight. Wednesdays are always pretty quick because I type it all out and then I rant about all the things. So I will be back. I appreciate that, Tony. Thank you. I will be back on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Unless the Gestapo kicks in my door and drags me off to the gulag, at which point I won't be on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Hopefully I can live stream that when they do that, though. So let's call it off here. We had a good night. We had a good stream. We had a nice little bit. And I will talk to you again on Saturday. So good night.